Rachel Zegler, the actress playing Snow White, decided to go on a little PR disaster tour. You see, Rachel Zegler went out there and bashed the original movie, as you all remember, calling it outdated and problematic, saying that Snow White wasn't a good role model because, well, she dreamed about love. I mean, let's be honest here. Snow White is a classic. It's a story about kindness and innocence, and it's been involved blood for generations. But apparently, that's not good enough anymore, at least for Rachel Zegler. And to make things worse, Rachel Zegler just can't stop keeping her running her mouth, just wouldn't keep her mouth shut on social media. You see, Rachel Zegler was constantly out there trashing fans and even straight up saying that if you voted for Donald Trump, she didn't want you coming to the theater. Now, I don't know about you, but when you're promoting a movie telling half the country that they're not really welcome, probably is not the best strategy right there. You see, Rachel Zegler just keeps proving to be a problem for Disney from time to time again. And even Disney knew that they had a problem on their hands, so when they did the red carpet premiere in Hollywood, they tried to go ahead and keep Rachel Zegler as far away from a microphone as possible, as you all remember. And it's like they were just terrified of her saying something else that would basically torpedo the movie even further. You see, they didn't let Rachel Zegler do interviews, and honestly, I think they were just praying that nobody would ask Rachel Zegler a single question. I mean, let's be honest. A lot of us, myself included, understand that. Now, you think maybe that all that damage control would help them out a little bit, but it sure didn't look like it. You see, their early box office projections are already a joke. We're talking about an opening weekend that's projected to be way lower than even The Little Mermaid. And guess what? That was also a colossal flop. I mean, I've been checking out reports from all over the country, and guess what? It's not looking good at all. You see, people are sharing pictures of completely empty theaters on opening night. I've seen it myself. I mean, it's not just some small town cinema we're talking about. These are major theaters in big cities, and nobody's buying tickets. But then again, with all the stuff happening for the past 3 years with this movie, I mean, it's no surprise. For example, Tice's Corner in Virginia, one of the busiest theaters in the DC metro area or Northern Virginia, had empty seats all over the place for their primetime Saturday showings. Same story, Salt Lake City, Utah, another massive theater completely dead. I even saw one from like a post on X from Montreal, Canada, where the busiest theater in the city had almost no one there. It's crazy. Now, can I remember the last time I saw a Disney movie tank this hard before it officially opens. Matter of fact, I think this may be the first one. But you know, it's one thing to have a slow start, but it's also another to be on this kind of level. It's like people are actively avoiding this movie, and honestly, I think Disney's biggest mistake was letting Rachel Zegler become the face of this PR nightmare. You see, Rachel Zegler went from being an unknown actress to being universally disliked, and it's not because people hate her personally. It's because of how she treated the fans. Now, you can't call people toxic or backward just because they love the original Snow White and expect them to go ahead and fork over their hard-earned money to go ahead and watch your remake. That's not how it works at all. Now, let's be real here. Disney's been holding back the review embargo for the Rachel Zegler Snow White movie until the absolute last minute. Now, that's usually a pretty big red flag, and this was reported from thatpopplace.com. It makes you wonder just how bad this thing really is if they don't want critics to even get a peek at it before it's too late. Now, when they do this kind of thing, it usually means that they know this movie is a flop or a dud, and they're just trying to get us as much money as possible that they can before the bad word spreads. Now, even Disney Springs, which usually packed with premieres and stuff, had plenty of empty seats for this Rachel Zegler show. Snow White movie. Now, sure, there were a few theaters that were closer to being sold out, but let's be honest, most of them look like ghost towns. Now, you can't just ignore that and pretend that everything's fine. But the thing is that Disney's gotten so caught up trying to push a message through this Rachel Zegler movie that basically they've completely lost touch with their audience, okay? And that's not surprising right there. That's saying a lot. But they're more concerned about using Rachel Zegler for virtue signaling than actually telling a good story. Now, it's costing them big time, and they've taken something that was beloved by generations, passed down from one generation to another, and turned it into this weird, divisive, preachy mess with Rachel Zegler at the forefront. Now, simply put, people just want a good story. They want something that respects the original while maybe giving it a bit of a fresh coat of paint. Not something that spits in the face of the classic itself. Now, whether you disagree or agree, I think a lot of families are going to take one look at this Rachel Zegler movie and decide that it's not worth the hassle. You see, they don't want to go deal with the controversy, and they definitely don't want to be lectured to by the likes of Rachel Zegler while trying to go ahead and try to enjoy a movie with their kids or even grandchildren. And you know, that's the saddest part of all of this. Disney used to be the place where families would go and just simply escape the world for a while. Now it's like you can't watch anything without being reminded of how backwards they think you are. Okay. But from time to time, like I've said before, and I'll say it again, Disney needs to go back to basics. Focus on storytelling, focus on respecting the characters and the legacy that they've built. Okay. Basically, stop hiring actors who are really activists like Rachel Zegler who hate the fans, and start making movies that actually celebrate what actually made these stories timeless in the first place. I mean, otherwise, they're just going to keep pumping out one box office flop after another. Okay. So, what do you all think? Is this new Snow White disaster starring Rachel Zegler going to be a wake up call that Disney needs, or are they just going to go ahead and keep doubling down on this woke nonsense? I mean, honestly, it's going to be a flop and everything. I can tell. My prediction is that it may be below $100 million opening box office weekend. I could be wrong. I mean, I'm human after all, and this is just a basic prediction of mine. I could be wrong, but I'm putting it out there. Maybe less than $100 million and everything. Box office weekend, opening weekend. But yeah, that's just what I think. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Also, be sure to include any additional details or thoughts you might have on this particular topic. If you enjoy what was shared in this video, go ahead and smash the like button and share the video far wide across social media. And if you haven't done so already, you enjoyed all the content that I put out there, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification so that way you know notify the future uploads and updates. Till then, peace.